Subscribe.
We'll highlight all that. Don't you worry.
I'm just saying, you gotta remind people.
Subscribe right now.
Subscribe.
Of course.
Philadelphia, baby, you're gonna love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
Talor Gooch is the equivalent to fucking Harold from Hey Arnold. He thinks he's the smartest kid in class, but he's such a dope. I can't. Why did we ever stand him at one point on this show?
I think because his last name is Gooch. I think it's funny to make jokes.
His brain is a fucking gooch.
It's like the same way how he loved Tom Hoagie because his name's a sandwich.
But at least Tom Hoagie's cool. Like fucking Talor Gooch thought he could bounce from the PGA Tour to LIV and back. And now he thinks fucking Rory's career Grand Slam would have an asterisk in an event that he's not even a part of.
Talor Gooch owns three of the dumbest statements / doings ever. He thought that he could jump from the PGA to LIV and then just go back whenever the fuck he wanted to after the first event, even though he openly knew that Monahan said, "We're going to suspend you and you're not out." After he won the team championship with DJ and Patrick Reed, he said, "Well, I never played in the Ryder Cup, but the energy here is unmatched. It's definitely better than the Ryder Cup." What? And then goes out and says, "Oh, there's an asterisk because the best players in the world aren't playing." I put a tweet out, and it actually got the pretty good engagement. There's 15, I think, LIV guys that are in the field at the Masters this year. And of those 15 guys, that list includes John Rahm, Brooks Koepka, Dustin Johnson, Patrick Reed, Phil Mickelson, Bubba Watson, Sergio Garcia, Bryson DeChambeau, Cam Smith, Tyrrell Hatton, Joaquin Niemann, and Adrian Meronk. So that's 12 of the other 15 guys. Ruth Isn's in as well, so is Charles Schwartzel, former Masters champions. So over 20% of LIV is in the field at Augusta this year. And you're telling me that the best players in the world are not in it. So what? You're not in it? Jason Kokrak isn't in it? Harold Varner's in it? Dean Burmeister? Give me a fucking break.
He told on himself. He knows he's not one of the best players in the world.
The best was how Twitter blew up and Data Golf put on their rankings. They're like, "Oh, we now have Gooch certified events." So every single event has an asterisk, and it just says at the bottom, Talor Gooch certified event.
We gotta borrow that. We gotta borrow that. That's so genius. I think now that you refresh my memory of the team event, I think I know why Talor Gooch is making all these asinine statements. Patrick Reed's stupid rubbed off on him.
Probably. Also his cheating metric. So, and actually, you know what? Really cool idea for a shirt. Yeah, I hate to be that guy. You know how some people from Asia will wear shirts that just have words on them.
Mm-hmm.
Random words like bathing or cool. Period. We should just have a white shirt, black type, and it has asterisk Talor Gooch certified. That's the shirt. The entire shirt. It's boring. It's plain. It's perfect. It's like got milk.
Or we just take his and it just says Gooch certified.
No, but yeah, I mean,
then it plays to the common man, and nobody knows what it really means in that sense. But if you're a golf person, you know exactly what it means.
That was when I went. So I have a summer house in Naples. I used to have, and my mom went to this shop. Me and my grandpa used to go when I was younger. We used to go and fish, and the shop was called Master Bait and Tackle. Perfect name for a bait and tackle shop. I got a shirt for my mother, unknowing what it said on the back, and it just said on the front it said Master Bait and Tackle, and then on the back it had a flag, a red flag with a double cross, which means it's like a diving flag, in the nautical flag system, and it says Professional Muff Diver, Master Bait and Tackle Shop. And Kay refuses to let me wear this shirt ever because it is the most overtly sexualized and stupid shirt I've ever had. Never bought it myself. I want to put that out there. I would not buy something like that for myself, but I did. I wore it to our move-in day at our apartment, and her parents were there. By the way, Kay, say hello to the folks. Hi. So there she is. Yeah. So wore it to that, not realizing that her parents would be there. That was a one of those awkward moments. But yeah, all of this to say, Talor Gooch is a fucking moron.
What a dope.
What an absolute fucking dope. Should we be surprised in the slightest?
Not at all. I mean, he's got absolute just like it's like the episode of SpongeBob when the mom is walking around with the kid to avoid Sandy, and it's like, be careful, son, you'll catch her stupid. That's what you have to be like around Talor Gooch. You might catch his stupid.
Get in the Hole is brought to you by PHI Apparel Company, our incredible merch partners. PHI Apparel Co. provides unique designs and high-quality clothing from t-shirts to hoodies for every golfer around. With their original designs for all, there's no doubt you'll stand out on the course, the driving range, or at the 19th hole. Go to phiapparel.co and use code UNDERGROUND at checkout for 10% off any order. That's code UNDERGROUND at phiapparel.co and grab exclusive Get in the Hole podcast merch and support your favorite golfers.
How are we doing, folks? Welcome into the Get in the Hole podcast. Kyle Bennett sitting in for Ben Pirro. Here I am as well, Stephen McAvoy, joining you in another great week in the world of golf. Of course, we've already mentioned how Talor Gooch is just an absolute moron. But we have a lot to get to on this show, including the return of Anthony Kim. Also, Eckroat claims his first PGA Tour victory. And, of course, we have some fun and great news this week with Bay Hill, as well as another alternate event, the Puerto Rico Open, happening this week. Want to give a shout-out to our sponsors this week, Tomahawk Shades, the best small batch eyewear in the industry. Founded on Long Island, rep by some of the biggest personalities in sports, including Chris Hogan, Kyle Harrison, our very own Paige Sporanic, and actually I think he's the bench coach or the hitting coach for the Marlins now, John Jay.
Yeah, he's also part owner.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, bro. Tomahawk Shades is guaranteed to keep you looking fresh from the first hole to the 18th green and beyond. Head to TomahawkShades.com or download the Tomahawk Shades app on the App Store and Google Play Store and browse their selection of sunglasses, blue light plus glasses, and prescription shades. And be sure to use code USP for 25% off your next order. We're also sponsored by, in the first ad read of the company's history on this show, snaps for that, Acorn Hills, bringing you stylish apparel for on and off the course, all using biodegradable packaging and plantable clothing tags. Acorn Hills is changing clothing through conservation. Use code GITH15, that's Getting the Hole 15, for 15% off your next order at acornhillsco.com. Again, acornhillsco.com. And look your best from the ground up. Really excited to be joining up with Acorn Hills. Interview at the end of this show featuring their owner, Nate.
Yeah, I think that's what was planned for this week.
That.
So
very excited for that. Check out the second half.
Good on you, Stevie Mac, landing the first ad deal there.
Hey, you know what, dude? We're putting in work. I am a salesman after all. I put the fact that I onboarded a company to the program on my resume to prove to my boss that I'd be a good salesman. So
yeah, I think next month Acorn Hills will be on board with the main pod as well.
Awesome.
Very excited for that partnership to grow, and I think it's and you guys touched on it in the interview that you'll hear later. I think it's one of the coolest concepts for a company for somebody that is still a college student.
Oh yeah, and Nate's a great guy. Playing college actively at St. Aloysius, Mount Aloysius, I believe it is. Yeah, Mount Aloysius, right outside of Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Really cool guy, really driven and really dedicated. Like, I knew kids in college who sold, one kid made gelato out of his dorm and used to sell it. One kid made grilled cheese. This dude's got a whole ass brand for both golf on and off. So it's really cool that he's doing all this. Again, check out the interview, second half of the show here. But we lead off today with Anthony Kim's return to the golf stage at Jeddah. He finished dead fucking last, but you know what? We had a pretty good show out of him this week. So Kim shot 2 straight rounds of a 76. He shot I believe, in the 150s overall for the shot back-to-back 76s in the first 2 rounds. Shanked a few shots, had a bit of a rough patch. We saw it beginning even at the Pro-Am. We saw it even at the Pro-Am. 2, please. Thank you. Yeah, I have my wife ordering me clothes. Well, what an absolute saint. Booyah! Yeah, so like Kim's return to golf, of course, was nothing favorable, but I know Ben and I were talking about it going into the week, how you gotta just enjoy the chance that you get to have to watch him, and maybe it is a publicity stunt, whether or not it is as much of a stunt as like when the Mets signed Tim Tebow. I don't really know, but at the very least, like the guy still looked competitive. There were some shots, that one shot that went viral, I think it was like on the 6th hole, of just an absolute toad shank. Even Ben said, for guys who are pros, it's still a very difficult shot. Shot was above his feet on the incline, had to try and scoop it out from about 130 yards. That's a very challenging golf shot. So to give him credit for that, it is challenging no matter where you are. And yeah, we give a lot of crap about Jeddah, and thank you, honey. We give a lot of shit to LIV golfers about how like the events aren't necessarily the hardest conditions comparatively to what you see on the PGA Tour, but it's still a golf course nonetheless. Like it's still a challenge no matter how you slice it to perform in a situation like that. So I can't knock him at all for that. And just because he finished last, there's still going to be plenty of opportunity for him to continue to grow. And again, it's been a decade. Like, lay off. We got to just.
Which is why I don't think it's a publicity stunt per se.
Yeah,
because like, you know, with Tebow, like he had his football career, you know, had his shining star moment with the Broncos, and then was like, I'm gonna go do my first love and try to play baseball, and it just didn't work. Where with Anthony Kim, it's like there's people who watch golf and everything who don't even know who Anthony Kim is until this past week, and it's like, why is there all this ruckus about this guy? You know, is he a new golfer? Like, is he an up and coming star? And it's like, oh, go figure. This guy is like returning to the sport after a decade. I think it's cool that he made his return. I think it's cool that, you know, he got the opportunity, and I think the only place he can go is up. You know, if he continues to play, you know, sure, you're going to struggle your first time playing a professional, you know, event for the first time in a decade. Like, no matter what sport, task, whatever it is, if you're doing something at the professional level for the first time in a decade, you're going to have your struggles. The fact that he went out there and performed and, you know, was still showing signs that he can do it is a positive for his career. And I think if, you know, I'm Anthony Kim, I'm taking what happened this weekend as just, you know, my welcome back moment type of situation, and moving forward, learning from it. And I think it's a good thing for the sport that he's back.
And look, like Anthony Kim never gave up on golf, but he certainly hasn't been training like he has, like he did back in the early 2000s. Like that's just how it's been for him. He's gotten back into the game. He's always loved the game of golf. It's just how things went. And while we still don't really have the answers, and we're still waiting on the interviews for that, like, just he's now back into the sport that he does ultimately love, and maybe he lost the competitive desire after a really rough 2012 and after surgeries and just things kind of derailed his career. But now he's back, and you're right, like it's still professional sport, and to come back after a decade, we see it with so many other athletes trying to make comebacks. I think like Mark Mulder and Roger Clemens tried making baseball comebacks in their early 40s, and it just doesn't happen that way. And whether it's the training differential of, like you retire and you don't train for 5 or 6 years, maybe that's the case. But because golf is so individualized too, I think just because he played poorly doesn't necessarily mean anything. We see guys like Cristobal del Solar, who we saw shoot 57 at a Corn Ferry Tour event. I think shot a opening round like 74 at the Mexico Open. Like, you can have one really good round, and then all of a sudden, or actually that same week, he shot 57, came back and shot 73. shot over par the next day. Like the duality of golf, anything can happen in any 18 holes of golf. I can shoot 85 one day and shoot 120 the next. That's just how it is. You're never going to get
Tiger Woods
it all
can
right
go out and win a major in 2019, and
exactly, yes,
the ups and downs that he's had, since the turn of the decade.
Yeah, exactly.
And everyone still gets excited when it's like, oh, Tiger's playing this weekend, like can't wait. And we kind of know what to expect now to a degree from Tiger Woods at this stage in his career, but everyone still gets geared up for it. And then when Tiger goes out and plays and ultimately, doesn't live up to what we have the mental remembrance of Tiger Woods being, is this all-time greatest player ever type situation, it's like, damn, like Tiger fell short. Tiger, is it? And we go through the same. It's like the graph that NFL fans put out for their teams. Mostly it's Cowboys fans. It's like, oh, this is our year, we them boys, and then losing the playoffs. It's like, oh, it's over, and then off season rolls around. It's like, oh, we're back, and it's the never ending cycle. But just because this is a player who we haven't seen in a decade, it's what's this guy doing? Blah, blah, blah. I think it's a really cool story that Anthony Kim is back, that he's gotten the opportunity to do it. Now, if LIV Golf doesn't exist, we maybe never see Anthony Kim play professional golf ever again.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, like, I mean, it's a bad comparison comparing Anthony Kim to Tiger because he's no Tiger. But Tiger took a year off and came back. I think he was like top 20, I think, like barely missed outside of it at the Farmers when he came back in 2017. He missed the cut at Riviera, and then all of a sudden came to life. But he didn't play like the Tiger of yesteryear. He had plenty of finishes outside of the top 5. Like, you didn't see that ever in his entire career up until that point. Like, you got to appreciate what you have like right now, and I think that's the beauty of LIV Golf. Honestly, is the fact that like Anthony Kim would never get the opportunity to do this if it wasn't for LIV Golf. So you're right. I think it's a huge advantage for him to be able to have this opportunity and showcase it in this way. So we'll see how he does the following week at their next event coming up. But until then, he'll keep on training, he'll keep on working, and hopefully we'll see him climb the ladder soon. And maybe he won't finish dead last. We'll see. So back to Talor Gooch really quick. I want to highlight this. Mike went unplugged. Talor Gooch, for those of you who were not listening to either the beginning of the show or just in general the news week, Gooch had made a comment prior to the event here at Jeddah and said that if Rory McIlroy completes the Grand Slam at Augusta this year, it should be considered an asterisk because the best players in the world are not in the field. Now, we already highlighted that 20% of LIV will be in the field, including Joaquin Niemann, who we'll talk about later in the show, who's on an absolute bender. But I want to think of this from a different lens. Do you think it's Talor Gooch trying to get in Rory's head, or he's actually trying to make an actual argument that's just complete bullshit?
Part of me is like, he's trying to just be in the headlines because that's what Talor Gooch tries to do. Because to me, what does Talor Gooch have to gain from getting in Rory's head?
Well,
from a personal standpoint.
Well, when you look at it from the not personal at all, but obviously the rivalry of LIV versus PGA, it's very apparent that some LIV guys take it way too seriously and have some gripes against guys on the PGA Tour. If the number one player in the world doesn't win at Augusta, but maybe a LIV guy wins and Rory's known to play really well at Augusta, maybe it's a victory for LIV at that point. I don't even know if there really is a rivalry at this point. I know that there's growing talks to try and merge them, but I think Talor Gooch is just kind of being an asshat.
Well, I think last year at the Masters proved there's very minimal to the rivalry when you see Brooks hanging out with everybody, and it's just a weird thing from Talor Gooch that feels like he just needs to grow up a little bit.
Yeah, he doesn't have anything to win, nor does he really have anything to lose at this point, too, because Talor Gooch knows he isn't as good as Rory McIlroy, and he knows that he isn't as good as some of the guys who are going to be playing at Augusta, and maybe it is a matter to try and get into his head. But all I can tell you right now is that when you look at the grand scheme of things, Talor Gooch, according to Data Golf, is as good actually completely equal to Adam Hadwin. Now, Adam Hadwin is not a bad golfer by any means, but a guy who was supposedly top 300, top 30 in the world for a long time. He's 33rd on the Data Golf rankings. Someone who was supposed to be top 30 in his career only had one PGA Tour victory, and then basically blew it off, thinking that he can flip flop between leagues. To say that you are equal to Adam Hadwin or Corey Connors or Harris English, like, you ain't shit, buddy. Now, if you're much higher on the list, you're a Matt Fitzpatrick, a Tony Finau. All right, cool. He has some draw. But the LIV Golf Player of the Year going after Rory McIlroy, I just like what's the fun in that? What are you trying to prove?
Feels so like it feels like the LIV Golf Player of the Year thing is
got to his
like,
head.
Yeah, like he's like Megamind, and he's just letting his ego.
He's like Megamind.
That's one of my favorite meme templates, by the way. Megamind like leaning in, no bitches.
Megamind's also a top 5 Will Ferrell movie.
Yeah,
Change my mind.
Definitely underrated. I don't know if I would have it top 5. I'd have to do some data digging, but it's definitely underrated.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But Talor Gooch, like I'm trying to even think of like major 4 sports equivalents to Talor Gooch to be like saying the same thing. Like this to me is like I'm trying to think of somebody like talking shit on like a top 5 quarterback or like a top 10 point guard or NBA star or a top 10 baseball player.
I'm trying to think of like there has to be a really good comparative here. Oh, all right. Talor Gooch is like Kyrie Irving. Like he's really good. He's really good, but he can never find himself at the very, very, very elite level. But he tries to make himself out to be like that guy, or even like Russ. I think is also a good example too. Like does almost tries to do too much.
I like the Kyrie comparison though.
Talor Gooch is also definitely a flat earther. Absolutely. He has to be. Come on. He has to be a flat earther.
Or he's trying to do some in-between shit and be like, the earth is actually shaped like a pyramid.
Talor Gooch could also totally be a Scientologist.
Oh, 100%.
Like approached by Tom Cruise, like, join me, brother. I can totally see it.
He was probably applauding Will Smith when he slapped Chris Rock. It's like, oh, he's going to elevate so high in the Scientology rankings. Talor Gooch probably pays more attention to the Scientology rankings than the official World Golf rankings.
Did I ever tell you that I almost got dragged into a Scientology meeting?
No.
Yeah. So I'm with a friend of mine. We're walking in Manhattan, and right across the street from the Book of Mormon, unironically, is the Church of Scientology. And we're walking by, and some guy's brochures, and he goes, "Hey, like, have you guys ever been interested in learning more about Scientology?" And my friend goes, "Yeah." And I'm like, no. And the guy goes, "Oh, like, come on inside. We'll like we have a presentation that we're showing. Like, we'll be able to like give you more details. You can talk to somebody within the church." And I'm just like, "Oh, we're good." And I completely like bailed on this guy. And I was like, we almost got dragged into a meeting, and your life would have been over, just so you know that, right? or they would have killed us because we would have been like, no, we're staying loyal to the Catholic Church.
My picture of Scientology is the aliens from Toy Story just chanting the claw.
The claw.
That's the top tier level of Scientology, is getting selected by the claw.
Like who's the leader? Who's the leader of the Scientologists?
Tom Cruise has to be.
But like, who's the like? Is there like a pope? Do they have like a? I don't even know. Invented by American author L. Ron Hubbard.
there's a cleric. His name is David McAvoy.
Sounds a lot like miscarriage, and it's very telling.
He is the second and current leader of the Church of Scientology from Bristol Township, Pennsylvania.
The sociologist Stephen A. Kent views the Church of Scientology as a multifaceted transnational corporation, only one element of which is religious. It's a huge, complex, and multifaceted movement. This is really weird. Yeah,
This guy looks like if you celebrity mashed up the like new husband from the Santa Claus movies, not Tim Allen, but the guy that was seeing Tim Allen's ex-wife when he became Santa Claus.
Oh, Allen?
Yeah. Him and Vince McMahon is what this guy looks like, celebrity mashed up.
Who, like L. Ron Hubbard?
No, the David Miscavige.
Oh, all right, because L. Ron Hubbard looks like... Oh, God. Who's the guy, all right, from The Longest Yard? The main, officer. Like, shorter, like... Hold on, I gotta find the photo now. I don't even know like who the actual actor is. Let's see, who's the actor?
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
It was the main guard. Oh, William Fichtner.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like William Fichtner.
Yeah.
Also, William Fichtner looks a lot like an old Jeremy Allen White. like he could be his dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. L. Ron Hubbard died in 1986. Crazy.
Golly.
Prolific writer of pulp science fiction and fantasy novels. Of course, he fucking created Scientology. All right. Enough on the church that they're gonna watch this video and they're gonna come to our houses and murder us. So, Austin Eckroat gets his first career victory at the now newly minted Cognizant Classic, which I must say, as I'm sitting there on the couch, actively betting on it today as the Sunday spilled over to a Monday finish. A, praying that Ben doesn't match me up in beer money, and B, actively betting Minwoo Lee to win, which he came up just short. Austin Eckroat wins by 3 strokes to win the Cognizant Classic, the former Honda Classic, at 17 under par. A 3-stroke victory over Minwoo Lee, and Eric Van Rooyen with a surging 8 under par in the final round on Sunday. Did not play at all on Monday. He finished early before the rain out. Honestly, not a classic in the terms of like everyone was watching it edge of their seat, but a lot of really good play on a Sunday and Saturday. And despite a lot of delays, a really good victory for Austin Eckroat. Gets his first career PGA Tour win, the Oklahoma State product. The last 2 weeks between Jake Knapp and Austin Eckroat has been a really good like jump, like diving board kind of moment, springboarding moment. Getting them both 2 really talented golfers, both pretty young in age to a degree, and now getting them up towards the upper echelon of the golf world. You got to realize that Eckroat, for those of you who don't know, was a former Korn Ferry Tour top player. He finished, I believe, top 5 in the last 2 of the last 5 years on the KFT. Got some sponsorship exemptions to the PGA Tour, earned his tour card, finishing second at the KFT final this past year. So a really talented player. Hasn't gotten a lot of luck up until now. He finished top 10 at the U.S. Open. He had a runner-up finish. I forget where, but that was really his first exposure into the golf game. So really good on him to earn that first victory. And the Cognizant overall just gave a lot of really good, showed us some really, really good golf on a really difficult golf course, as Ben and I had outlined last week.
I know we talk about this a ton on this show. Up until this tournament was renamed, how many people on planet Earth of the common folk do you think know what Cognizant is? Outside of the literal definition of the word cognizant.
I still don't know what it is. So, like, educate
me. It's an IT company.
Okay.
How many how many golf tournaments in the next 5 years are going to be sponsored by IT companies at the rate we're going?
I'm waiting for the Open AI event that's going to take over for Pebble Beach. You and I both know that Pebble Beach, it's right by Silicon Valley.
Oh yeah.
When AT&T drops a sponsorship naming, it's going to go to some like AI company.
Yeah,
Sam Altman is salivating right now thinking about him and Bill Murray's foursome with Scotty Scheffler and Charlie Woods. Salivating over it.
Yeah, Cognizant is an American multinational information technology services and consulting company headquartered in Teaneck, New Jersey.
When's the NVIDIA Open? Let me know, somebody.
I can't wait for the MetaQuest 4 Invitational.
Well, like this is like the spring up of like how the Staples Center was changed to like Crypto Arena, like,
which I'm shocked that's still a thing.
No, wasn't it changed something else
from Crypto.com?
Yeah, or it was changed. I think Miami had a
change because they were FTX.
Yeah. Oh yes. Okay. Yeah. Yikes! All right.
Yikes, dog.
Can of worms I didn't realize I was opening. Yeah. No. Like seeing the spike now and like new events that are coming up now.
They're the Cassia Center now in Miami.
Okay.
What the fuck is that? I don't know.
Cassius. I know Casio. But yeah, like we're gonna be seeing a lot.
It's an IT company.
What a shock! What an absolute shock! Well, and then isn't Steve Ballmer's new stadium going to be like into it? They're also an IT company.
Yeah,
but like we have more events that are going to wind up getting their names changed soon. Wells Fargo's dropping their name from Quail Hollow at the end of this year. I don't think they don't have a name yet for the Barbasol, which is just now the Kentucky Championship. And then I believe there's one other, the Myrtle Beach Classic. Yeah. The Myrtle Beach Classic doesn't have a name yet. It's a new event on tour. So we have 3 more events that are going to need a name change. Very strong chance we're going to have some sort of an AI or in like IT stock market kind of like boomer kind of name. Would love to have like some really weird, crazy company do it, like Taco Bell or like Abercrombie and Fitch. That'd be hilarious. Dude Wipes.
Would love to have them here.
The Dude Wipes Open. Do it somewhere where that has constant mudslides in California.
Like, I think one of the most unique ones is obviously Waste Management. Like having a trash and recycling company sponsoring an event is cool.
But like, what's the worst sponsorship? Like in terms of like some of those companies that have these like high, like I keep thinking of the like companies who do like lower class bowl games.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Duke's Mayo Bowl is absolutely hilarious.
That's so funny.
I mean the Pop-Tart Open,
the Pop-Tart Open or the Pop-Tart Invitational would go crazy.
Trying to think like what else,
dude. Can you think of the merch that we would get from a Pop-Tart Open?
So, actually, hold on, wait. So Vedanta, which is the so Vedanta is a resort company that they're the company who sponsors the Mexico Open. It's the Mexico Open of Vedanta. What if the avocados from Mexico? The avocados from Mexico Open? That'd be hilarious.
Like, it makes too much sense to not be that.
There's no event in like Idaho. They have like the Idaho Potato Bowl. Trying to think Duke's Mayo Bowl, DirecTV, the
like
Wasabi
like
Fenway
that,
Bowl. Like what?
DirecTV, like companies like that. Why are they not in the mix? It's kind of
I'm trying to think like of the companies that are well known, like Valero, a gas company. They're one of the only ones in there. Shriners Children's Hospital. That's a unique one. mean, like Bay Hill is sponsored by MasterCard, so not really like not anything like too crazy. The Puerto Rico Open doesn't have a really big. I don't think any sponsors really. Charles Schwab's a big one. That one will always be there. The Memorial is nationwide.
Rocket Mortgage, John Deere.
They all right. So it's like John Deere mowers. They have to have a bad boy mowers event. Think about it. You're on a golf course. Like, it makes sense.
3M.
I want to see like a cereal company sponsor something.
Literally, like
Kellogg's Classic. That sounds great.
That'd be sick.
That sounds bomb. Tony the Tiger's there, like a mascot, fucking taking photos with the kids.
Be so
teeing
cool.
it up in the Pro-Am is Tony the Tiger, Tiger Woods.
We're great.
That'd be absolutely electric. All right, let's take a short break here. On the other side, we have some shout outs to do. A new little segment here. We'll chat all things beer money and as well the Puerto Rico and Bay Hill previews. Don't go anywhere, folks. It's KB and Steve-O here from the underground. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the whole podcast here, KB and Steve-O, on another huge week on the PGA Tour. Want to give another shout out to some of our merch partners. We've already gotten you Tom Allshade and Acorn Hills. We also want to shout out PHI Apparel Co. Our great merch partners, ditching out some exclusive, getting the whole merch that you can grab. PHI Apparel Co. provides unique designs and high quality clothing from t-shirts to hoodies for every golfer around. With their OG design straight from our brand, actually. There's no doubt you'll stand out on the course, the range, or at the 19th hole. Go to phiapparel.co, use code UNDERGROUND to check out for 10% off any order. That's code UNDERGROUND. If you don't know how to spell it, just find it. You should know. And grab some exclusive Getting the Whole podcast merch. Support your favorite golfers, a.k.a. me and Ben, as we continue to break some records in the world of golf. Whether or not that's actual records on course or not is to be seen. But I want to start a new segment in honor of Ben because he brought this up last week and we talked a little bit about it. You know how like Jimmy Fallon does like thank you cards and PTI does like shout outs on their show, and a lot of these companies do, a lot of these shows do like cheers and jeers or like top moments of the week. I want to highlight the events that aren't necessarily newsworthy from a elongated perspective, but do hold importance. And that's just our shout out to the week. We don't have a sponsor for it quite yet. We will see if someone hops on to be the name sponsor of that. But I want to start out with a quick happy birthday to Denny McCarthy. Actually turns 31 today as we record here on March 4th at 9:30. So happy birthday, Denny. He'll be playing this week at Bay Hill. Looking forward to a really big event from him. A congratulations shout out to Mason Anderson, won the KFT Argentina Open, earned a spot into the Open field at Royal Troon in July. So good. So congratulations to Mason Anderson. A huge move, particularly from someone as young as he is and from only the KFT to be able to get into a field like the Open at one of the most historic golf courses in the world. He took out a handful of top KFT golfers in order to get to this very spot. I think I have another note on him. If I do, I do not. Want to give another congratulations to Amelia Garvey. This is something that I thought was like absolutely fucking crazy. So shout out to Monday Q Info for the stat here. Her scorecard. I'm gonna rattle this off to you. I want you to tell me like what are the odds of this happening. She becomes the first golfer ever shot a final round 66, which included an ace, an albatross, a birdie, and a bogey. Her only two on the scorecard was the albatross and the par 5 13th. Otherwise, every par 3 was just a par. There was no other twos on the scorecard. She's a USC grad, native New Zealander. This all happened at the final round of the Royal St. Cloud Women's Championship on the next Women's Pro Tour. What are the odds, you think, of that happening?
It's got to be very slim.
Very slim. Very, very slim. To have an ace is slim. let alone an ace and an albatross.
Kinda
Actually, the albatross is harder to do than an ace, but
less than 2%.
well, like one in what?
I'm gonna go really extreme. 100,000.
1 in 4.5 trillion.
Holy shit!
You have 5 times better odds of getting a perfect bracket.
Holy shit!
Now, think about that. No one's ever gotten a perfect bracket.
Right.
To the point that Warren Buffett has told you, I will give you my stock portfolio if you get it right. Which I'm still praying to God it happens because Berkshire Hathaway is just fucking astronomical. The idea that you can do that and you can get struck by lightning 47 times and still not do that. You can win the lottery 200 times and still not do that. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. The big winner of the week is Joaquin Niemann, and this is really the one topic that I want to really kind of elaborate on further. He got a second win of the season at Jeddah this week. He earned an invite to the Masters and earned an invite now after this week to the PGA Tour, to the PGA Championship happening in May. He's the only LIV golfer to receive an invite to the PGA Championship so far. Do you think Joaquin Niemann has a chance, for as young as he is and for as well as he's played so far, to really kind of give the PGA Tour a run for their money in terms of being the new like face that LIV Golf was looking for? I feel like a lot of guys on LIV Golf have kind of fallen off and have taken a back seat to guys on the PGA Tour. Obviously, Talor Gooch won the LIV Player of the Year, but is not a top 30 golfer in the world. DJ's gotten older. Bryson hasn't had a ton of success outside of 159 and a couple of team wins. Cameron Smith, you could even argue after he left following the PGA Tour season that he hasn't really been the same golfer either. But
Brooks is the only one that.
Oh, him and Rob, I think, are the two like consistent molds of hype. But for Joaquin Niemann being only 23 years old,
25.
Does Joaquin Niemann have a chance to overpower the PGA Tour golfers, at least the younger guys, with how good he is and become a staple for LIV Golf for the next decade?
His name sounds older than he is too, because I feel like he's a guy that I feel like we've talked about him a lot, whether it's on pod or off pod for years. But for him to only be 25 is crazy. I mean, if he keeps playing this way, there's certainly credence to that. I mean, consistency is key in this, and I think, I was meaning to bring this up to you just over text, and it's been like ever since DJ went to LIV, it feels like nobody talks about Dustin Johnson anymore.
No.
Like, he's just kind of gone off into the sunset.
Talks DJ, no one talks Patrick Reed, I didn't believe it or not, when I was going over this Gooch asterisk thing, and I put out my tweet, I forgot Jason Kokrak played pro golf. like Louis Oosthuizen and Ian Poulter. I forgot these guys play golf.
Truly, because the only guys that have stayed relevant in the overarching world of golf that went to LIV are Brooks and Rahm.
Exactly, and now Joaquin went over at a very crucial point because he went over at 24 years old. He went over at a time that he was the future face of the PGA Tour alongside like Tom Kim and Colin Morikawa, Victor Hovland, a bunch of those guys who were all 26, 27 years old. And he was on the young side. Then it was him and Mito, the two Chileans, who go over, and it was like, wow, they managed to get Joaquin Niemann. We even just said it on the show, he's going to be a staple there. And now it's coming to fruition. This is his breakout year. He has 2 wins in 3 events. He's been an absolute showstopper. He's got a fantastic game. He's hitting it further than he ever has. He's stronger than he's ever been, and overall he's just more focused and more dialed in, which is a huge competitive advantage for LIV Golf. When we constantly talk about the PGA Tour versus LIV, like Ryder Cup, like Joaquin Niemann is the third guy out if you have a team of LIV guys using Rahm, Koepka, and Neiman. That's your big three right now.
100%.
And like Cameron Smith even fell off. Like a lot of these guys don't have the gravitas that they used to have. And whether or not it's because we don't talk about them because we focus more on the PGA Tour, or it's because they don't play enough, or it's because of the OWGR ranking points and just like getting the recognition that you deserve. Like Joaquin Neiman, let me like look through here. Like according to Data Golf, like Joaquin Neiman has jumped 6 spots to the 12th best player in the world, only behind Jon Rahm in terms of the LIV players. Like that's a top 12 player in the world. We're saying Joaquin Neiman is better than Jordan Spieth, better than Justin Thomas, Matt Fitzpatrick, Tony Finau, Cameron Young. Like he's right up there next to Pawa and Burns and Max Homa. So that's kind of like where Joaquin's at, and he can only get better from here. And at such a young age, comparatively to everybody else, the sky's the limit for him. Truly is. The Monday Qs this week, I want to give a shout out to the honorable mention here. Miles Russell, 15 years old, was the number one amateur in the world in the U18 rankings. I used a graphic for him to compare him to Charlie Woods in terms of those guys in the younger tier of golfers. Missed qualifying for on the Monday Q at the Puerto Rico Open by 1 stroke. Was in the playoff field with Mike Gligic, who's 37 years old. Guy's 20 years younger than this kid and was in the field in this playoff event. But Ryan Cole, Michael Gligic, Jeff Overton, and Evan Harmeling, I'm going to totally butcher that name, made the field. Really interesting factoid on Harmeling. He's been playing golf for 12 years. He's never made a PGA Tour event. Played on the Korn Ferry Tour so much for literally 12 years. His wife has been helping him like try and get him going in his career. This is his first PGA Tour start in 12 years. So good luck to Harmeling this week. Let's get into some previewing quickly of Bay Hill and what to expect. Of course, signature event number 4 of the year. We've had a bit of a break, but now we're finally at the peak 3 weeks of the golf calendar. We go from Bay Hill, we go to the Players, and next thing you know, it's the Valero, and then hello, Augusta, Georgia, the midnight train to Georgia. So excited! This is like this is the beginning of the peak of golf at this point. Like we've had some exceptional events the first 8 or 9 weeks, but now we're getting into the big time signature events, the majors, the uber like exorbitance of golf is all kind of coming into place now, and it starts here at Bay Hill.
It's exciting. I mean, this is when you guys cook. This is when golf is at its like most like eyeballs on everything outside of the playoffs, I would say, because everybody is gearing up and getting in that mood. You're watching ESPN and you're seeing, commercials for golf, and you're getting the targeted ads now. I get them all the fucking time. You're hearing Jim Nance's voice, for Master Sunday, and it's all in front of your face. It's this time of year is arguably top tier in the sports calendar.
Oh yeah.
Not only from the golf space, leading into the Masters, but obviously you have the NCAA tournament. You have baseball starting back up again. Summertime is like in the air, and that's what makes this time of year so great. It is truly just like one of those, like, ladies and gentlemen, we made it. We made it to a fun part of the year.
It's so great. Like we had the first 60+ degree day of the year yesterday, for us here in the Northeast, and like legitimately was just so excited. Went outside, went to the range last week when it was a little bit chilly. Went out in shorts and t-shirt, played like just hit the ball great, putted great, drove around with the windows down, doing literally whatever. Just a great time to be a part of this space and be able to to just hang out and enjoy the sunlight. And of course, like you're saying, we have peak golf season. We have spring training right here. We have the peak now of the NHL and the NBA seasons. Those are going to hit the playoff swings in April and May. Of course, like baseball being the boys of summer, we're getting wrapped up in Zach Wheeler and where's Blake Snell going to go and all this stuff going on and how much the Mets fucking suck. Like it's a great time of the year. And then the NFL always keeps us on our toes, but now even with you, it's basically going to be lacrosse season soon enough where we're getting right into the swing there. So just really excited for what's to come. And Bay Hill is kind of the start of that, to be able to get on the ground running and just enjoy some really great golf. I do want to share one thing with you before we.
And I do have an announcement company-wise that we have discussed on the main pod between myself and Pat Pitts, because it is shaping up. I don't know if you've noticed this, Steve. It's shaping up for the 4 fandoms of the NHL in our company to be making the playoffs. So we are going to have playoff hockey streams coming to the YouTube channel.
That's going to be absolutely elite.
Because we will have Rangers, we will have Bruins, we will have Red Wings, and it is shaping up for the first time in a long time to have my Philadelphia Flyers in the playoffs.
So I want to show you this. This is my first big boy golf swing of the new year, lining the driver up. This is just like peak athleticism right here on the range. Get ready for this.
Sky looks groovy.
Fucking cock rocket.
Okay, big dog.
Bang. Bang, baby. That right there. Just fucking peak athleticism.
Okay, big dog.
Big dog's got to eat. Oh, man. So, yeah. So, Bay Hill this week. Also want to give some love to the Puerto Rico Open as well. There isn't much to talk about in terms of Bay Hill. We already know what's happening. Signature event field, limited field, 69 players in the field. #nice. All fighting it out for $20 million. But the real story for me comes at the Puerto Rico Open, which alternate field event. I give a lot of shit to the Barbasol and to the to like those events because no one plays those because we're all wrapped up in the Genesis and the Open. But the Puerto Rico Open has been a springboard for so many good players in its history. It's been around for about 15 years now. It's been the breaking point and the break-in point for Tony Finau, for Victor Hovland, for Nico Echeverria. It was a springboard spot for not necessarily wins, but top 5 finishes from Bryson in 2017, his second year on tour. Danny Berger, Jonathan Vegas, Oscar Batia last year, Jordan Spieth in 2013 when he was still when he wasn't even a pro yet at that point. Jason Day in 2009. Like this is the fun event that I'll certainly be tuning into over Bay Hill, in my opinion. I think the signature events are great. Don't get me wrong, but when I get to watch a event where I could see possibly the future of golf showing out here, particularly from the KFT ranks, I'm really intrigued. And then a lot of those young rookies who just couldn't get into the signature event, I'll be staying keen on both these events this week. Particularly, like I said, with the Monday Qs here at Ryan Cole, Gligic, Harmeling, and Overton getting into the field here is huge for them.
Yeah, I think it is kind of cool that we have a signature event and, air quotes here for people just listening on audio, a lesser event to have kind of like double the action this weekend. I think it's a cool pairing.
Completely agree with you. All right, well, before we jump into our interview with Nate at the top of the hour here, let's jump right in to our beer money picks of the week, brought to you by our friends over at Kenwood Beer. Who's Kenny? He's smooth, he's clean, he's bright, and he's got a great damn taste to boot. He's the routine choice of folks who want a balanced, flavorful, no frills beer that's right for any occasion. I love this ad read being in the third person. So he's only 120 calories, 8 grams of carbs. Some call him the best light beer they've ever had, or they've ever been with. Ooh, hello, kinky. We just say you can't beat the original. Head to KenwoodBeer.com. Use the Kenny Tracker to find where you can get your hands on some ice cold, refreshing Kenny's from your favorite liquor stores in the Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Maryland areas, as well as the Wells Fargo Center for some playoff hockey and beyond. Must be 21 years or older to consume. Please drink responsibly, and 21 years of age as well to bet. in applicable states where you are actually able to bet. You begin with a top 20 pick this week we're only going to do Bay Hill. But I will begin with you, KB. Who is your top 20 pick at Bay Hill this week?
Oh boy, my top 20 pick for Bay Hill. Let my picks file load up here. Top 20. I am going to rock with. I'm going to go with Max Homa at plus 100.
I dig it. Top 20 for me. I'm riding with. He let me down this past week at the Cognizant, but I think he will have a good run here. I'm going to go with Matt Fitzpatrick for a top 20 this week. He finished, I believe, just outside of the top 20 this past week. Ben's taking Sepp Straka for a top 20 as well. His picks will also be posted into the graphic later this week. Top 10, who you got?
Top 10, I am going to go with. Let's look for something good here. Top 10, give me. Let's have some fun this week. Let's go Willie Z at plus 260.
Ooh, I dig it. Top 10 for me. This is this event's really challenging. We've seen winning scores as low as 4 under par in 2020 from Tyrrell Hatton. DeChambeau won at 11 under, Shikati at 5 under, Kitayama at 9 under over the last 4 years. So I'm struggling to find a really strong play for this event. But I do. Geez, I don't really know. The field is really wide too, which is the problem. I'm gonna ride with. You know what? He played really well this past week. He had a really he had a strong finish on Sunday that spilled over to Monday. I'm gonna ride with Minwoo Lee. He's let me down a lot, but I do think that he'll provide me some good support. And Ben will be taking Ricky Fowler for a top 10 finish. Top 5.
Top 5. I'm gonna go with Ludwig Aberg plus 400.
I dig it. Top 5 for me. I mean, you can call it a cop-out pick. I'm thinking Scotty Scheffler.
He's plus money for her top 5.
What's that?
He's plus money for a top 5.
Then I'll take it. I think Scheffler is a fine play for a top 5.
Plus 165.
He's been playing fine. He's been playing well. He hasn't necessarily had that jump out victory yet. And I thought after a strong play of the Waste Management that he would have the hot streak going, but he simply hasn't really had it quite yet. And a lot of that's just come from poor putting. But his ball striking skills have been really good so far this year. So I like Scheffler top 5. And Bensick and Rory. So fun little fun twist up from him there. Your gimme pick this week.
Gimme pick of the week. I am going to rock with. Let me see here. It's a little borderline, but I like it a lot. Top 30, Jason Day.
I love that.
It's minus 190, I believe. Yeah, minus 190. So it's not like the greatest odds, but I like him for top 30. And if you like him at top 30, I would also bet him plus money for a top 20 at plus 115.
Could you give me the odds for Emiliano Grillo top 40?
Top 40 Emiliano Grillo. Let's see.
I'll probably deep in the minuses.
Minus 225.
How about top 30?
Top 30. Plus 105.
Perfect. I like him for top 30 this week. Hit the ball striking from Emiliano Grillo has been absolutely amazing. In his 6 starts at Bay Hill, he has 5 made cuts and a DQ. But with the way he's hit the ball well so far this year, on top of the fact that he has a top 10 strokes gained ball striking last year and overall at this course. The problem really has simply been the putter, but the putter has seemed to figure itself out a little bit as of late. I'll take Gri over a top 30.
I'm going to throw in a bonus pick, too, that I kind of like.
Let's hear it.
Top 30, Nikolai Hogyard at plus 115.
I love it. Ben's also taking Russell Henley top 25. If you want another play for me in terms of this spot here, Adam Scott top 30 is another play that I'm eyeing. I think he could play. You could play him up to probably a top 15, but I think a top 30 is on the safer side to take it. The winner this week at Bay Hill, who are you taking?
I am going to take. I'm going to go Victor Hovland plus 1,400.
Oh boy. Geez, I am like really struggling with
same odds as Xander this week.
All right, so the best odds to win so far this year has been, I think, like plus 1,800, I think, from Jake Knapp. So basically what the metrics are telling me is pick within the range of like 5,000 to like 2,700. Damn it, I like it. We're gonna go bookends. Matt Fitzpatrick top 20, Tommy Fleetwood to win his first PGA Tour event. Could you believe it's been over 130 starts to the PGA Tour? He still hasn't won a damn thing. He's 30 to 1 to win this week, plus 3,000. I love Fleetwood this week. Ball striking has been really strong. He's like overall really, really good golfer. Just needs the momentum to thrive. He'll make his putts. That's no problem. If he can get to about 7 under, I think he wins this event with help. It'll take a little bit of help with how good some of these players have been, but I think he is a fine player.
I like a sprinkle of Ludwig Aberg at plus 1,800 as well.
I did that
to win. Like if I'm going to give you top 5, I think, bumping it up. If you think he can be top 5, you kind of have an inkling that he has a shot to win. So if you can get him at plus 1,800 plus, no free ads, a Green Sportsbook is doing what they typically do and giving you the odds boost of an additional plus 300 to your person's odds. So you can get him at plus 2,100.
Not bad. I do like that. I don't love. A lot of people have been bullish on Max Homa. I'm not totally buying it quite yet. It's been a bit of an odd year for him so far to date. All right, folks. Thank you guys for tuning in here. Check out the other side here. We'll be right back. Interview with Nate Hryn. I always fuck his name up. Nate from Acorn Hills, the CEO, great guy.
Acorn Nate,
newly minted 21 years old, has founded this company from the ground up, and it's been an absolute show for him. He's been featured on the National Weather Service, the Weather Channel, and is just making a huge name for himself so far in the conservation space, and of course now in the golf space. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with an exclusive interview right here on Getting the Hole, folks. Take it easy and enjoy the. Welcome back, folks, to the Getting the Hole podcast. Stephen McAvoy here. Exclusive interview with Nate Hryn of Acorn Hills. Really, really excited to be starting this ambassadorship with you, Nate. It's been a really awesome conversation in the past. Glad to have you on the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really want to kind of break down the Acorn Hills brand and get a sense for you as a person, being that the brand, for those who are listening and or watching and haven't and know nothing about the brand, very much near and dear to me, to our CEO KB. Very eco-friendly. Tell us your story. How did you become the golfer you are today, and how did Acorn Hill start?
Well, first, Steve, I want to thank you for having me on. Like I was telling you backstage here, I send tons of DMs. I'm always trying to connect with podcasters and people, and I'm just happy you answered back. But yeah, so a little bit about me for those out there listening is I'm a full-time college student. I'm freshly 21. I turned 21 last week. So I know, yeah, it was fun, but yeah, within reason, of course. But within reason. But I've been playing golf for the majority of my life, I'd say. When I really started taking it serious, I'd say 8 years old. until now that I'm playing in college, fortunately. But to be honest, I'm from a very rural part of PA. If you're familiar with it, and I know Steve, you're from New York. That's correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So you're kind of familiar with the rural part. And for me, there wasn't a lot of country clubs. There were a lot of country clubs with the emphasis on the word country. So a lot of your weekend warriors, a lot of kind of homegrown blue collared people that, a lot of people didn't play golf, especially a lot of people my age. So it was something my dad got me into. He played a lot when he was younger. And I kind of took to it, and it became kind of my sport real quick. I played baseball, football, and basketball. Of course, golf was in there too. And pretty soon, I just kind of always clung to golf. And I was all self-taught. I never had a lesson. So when I came to college, fortunately enough, I was decent enough. They allowed me in college to play. So when I came to college and had my first lesson, it was definitely a learning curve. I didn't know how to take like the information or anything like that. So now, fast forward to where I am today. I'm sit about a 0 to +1 handicap for being self-taught, but I can shoot much higher than what that handicap is. Don't let it kid you, but very fortunate to where I am today. And as far as the company, I came in as a freshman with this idea I had during COVID was this eco-friendly company. And I think, the plastic pollution today, everyone wants to talk about like 4Ocean and like how they clean up plastics in the ocean. And that is amazing. But no one really wants to talk about the $1 trillion industry in fashion that is out there. And when I say $1 trillion industry, that's an emphasis on like the brands. There are so many brands, so many products that when you go in a place like TJ Maxx or, a retailer like Ross or just a reseller of these clothes where you see all types of clothing and styles, they all seem to have one thing consistent. And it's that little bit of a wrap, a little bit of a plastic wrap and a hang tag that's made of plastic. And I used to always think as a kid growing up, well, if plastic pollution is such a big problem, why are we not focusing kind of on this? If it's a $1 trillion industry and accounts for so much. So COVID happened and I kind of tabled the idea until freshman year of college in 2022. And to be honest, I wasn't sure whether college was for me. Like I said, I was from a blue collared area and I thought, well, geez, maybe I should have stayed home and took up a trade or took up something else. And, I went through kind of a discernment period where I thought, well, maybe I'm supposed to be a bio major. So right now my major is marketing and accounting. So it was funny because I moved in for golf and I thought, well, maybe I should be a bio pre-med major. My SAT scores were high enough to be accepted into what was called early acceptance in what up in Erie, PA, called a school called LIVGolf. So it almost expedited my college process into med school. I thought, well, that's pretty good. Med school in 6 years instead of 10. It's not bad. And so I went and met with my advisor and we switched all the paperwork, had everything signed, got approved and everything. And all I had to do was meet with my new bio advisor, which was just a walk down the hall. And I was supposed to meet with him on Thursday and I went and he had a family emergency and he said, come back next Thursday. So I went and he stood me up, said he got caught down in the lab. I said, well, there's my sign. So I crumpled up all my paperwork. Literally, I can specifically remember me crumpling it up and throwing it in this old broken down trash can outside the building. And I stayed marketing and accounting ever since. And I thought, well, if I'm going to fail, I'm going to fail big. And I started the company.
So in terms of the plastic pollution, I want to kind of dig deeper into this if we're talking more about your story and getting more in that sense. Like, I know we talked about it prior to the show. We had a phone call and like you were explaining all of the pollution that goes into not only just the hang tags, but just like the manufacturing of clothing. There's obviously so many different processes and polyesters and polymers and fabrics and everything that kind of goes into things.
Yeah.
What makes Acorn Hills unique? What is the process like? You were explaining the paper that was used. What are some of the deviations between Acorn Hills and the other guys in terms of how you produce and how you're more eco-friendly than everyone else?
Yeah. So like I said, when I came into college, I tabled that idea from COVID. And my idea was to utilize seed paper. And for anyone out there like doesn't know what seed paper is, don't worry because you're not alone. But I got introduced to it in a science class back in high school. But essentially it's, paper that is, laid out as kind of like a paste, and there's seeds and stuff kind of thrown in that paste, and then it's put in like a kiln or air dried, and it's made almost like this paper that deteriorates when wet. So for me, I thought, well, why couldn't you just take that seed paper, make it into a hang tag form, and use it for clothing? And that's essentially what I did starting out. And I don't hold a patent for seed paper, but the process is something that's unique that not a lot of people are doing, the way I'm utilizing it. And that's kind of what was the starting separator for me, was that attracted kind of the idea of from reporters and stuff, gained some attention. And then pretty soon that story got picked up by USA Today. And then that story got picked up by the Weather Channel. Well, and like it was a flood of responses. It was amazing. But then I thought, sat back and thought, well, if I'm going to preach this idea of looking good, feeling good, and then in fact doing good, like with the environment, well, what am I doing else on my end? It's great that, I'm using things like recycled fabrics, recycled polyester, recycled cotton, and like biodegradable packaging and stuff within my shipping materials. But what am I doing as a CEO, as a business owner, as a human being? So I came up with this idea to partner with the National Forest Foundation and to be in a program called the Sapling Program, which is a huge nationwide program. But what it does is every order that's placed on my site, they automatically plant a sapling or small tree in one of the national forests. So, in 2023, we were just getting started, and we planted about 305 trees, which is, for me, being a small town kid, I thought this is great. But for 2024, we're already on track to double that, which is mind blowing to me. And the program itself, the whole program, you take everyone, including Acorn Hills, involved, and they're planted over 5 million trees in 2023, which is crazy, which I don't think anyone's really covering that story, but I think it should be covered.
What's been the greatest part about being able to do something like this? And particularly when you started out, I think the interesting thing is you're only 21 years old and newly minted 21, might I add. Like the idea that this sprouted as a high schooler, you learned from a class in high school, and all of a sudden you're creating this brand, and it's only going to get bigger as, of course, you get older. What's been the most rewarding part about this, and also what's been the biggest learning curve to try and make this as successful as possible?
Yeah, I think, you said about that, what's the most rewarding part is that's constantly changing. At first it was launching my website, proving myself that I could launch a website. Well, then, okay, I launched a website. Now what's next? And I think the most rewarding part was, it was in the summertime in July that I was just playing a round of golf at my local club, and I shot, I had my rangefinder, my handheld, and I shot past the pin, and I got to the next tee box, and there was a guy wearing a polo, and I thought, that looks kind of like what I designed. So then I was no longer I could care less what I had on that hole. I was literally had my rangefinder as a telescope looking at that guy, and pretty soon I finished the hole and I caught up to him, and sure enough, he was wearing one of my polos, and he did not know me from anywhere. But it's just funny, our paths crossed, and I think that's happened more than once. I think that's the most rewarding part, is people that really buy into the mission without knowing me, or without being friends and family, and just kind of knowing by word of mouth, or they heard it on the news, or heard it in an article, or read it, or saw it in a small retailer, and really bought into the mission. And I think that's probably the most rewarding part. Now, the most challenging part was I didn't underestimate how much work it would take, but I definitely felt the repercussions of it. So, a lot of people, they think, oh, I want to start a clothing business. I'm going to slap a logo on a t-shirt and sell it. Yeah, that's the final thing. But, sourcing materials and finding suppliers and stuff. And when those suppliers don't have the same time zones as you, and you're staying up until 3-4 in the morning, and you have a test at 8 o'clock, as a college student, it's well, do I pull an all-nighter and study, or do I pull an all-nighter and negotiate a contract with someone across the world? And those, you don't realize what you're doing until you've done it, kind of. And I secured my suppliers at the same facilities as these huge companies. I won't say their names on here just because of copyright issues, but same fabrics, same quality and stuff, but mine's almost at half the price. You look at their pricing models and stuff, and they're just gouging their customers. And essentially, for what we're offering at Acorn Hills, I think we're kind of, I don't want to say outdoing them because they had respect and from me, but just kind of offering something different for someone.
Well, what's the process like, having to go through those different time zones and working with these companies, and like what's going through your mind when you are trying to figure out, all right, where am I going from here? I've got my finance 201 test in the morning. I got something going on. I got a big group assignment. What's going through your mind when you're trying to balance that life as a student, but also as a businessman?
Yeah. So a lot of my things are self-inflicted, I like to say. I was telling you backstage, I'm pretty involved on campus. I'm not just a college student. It's funny. I am the head of 2 clubs here on campus. I founded our business club and grew that. And then I sit on our student government. And then aside from that, I work 4 jobs on campus, which include like peer tutoring. That's for like students that did well in a class and, helping a student that's coming off. I work in marketing, and then I have an internship, and then I work in like our mission and ministry too. So,
Jeez.
I mean, my plate is very full. It's almost overflowing. It's like if you're at an all-you-can-eat buffet and just, eat your stuff, that's me every day. But once in a while, they'll have me play the mascot too, which is crazy. But it is fun. But it is the craziest thing is I worked since I've been in 13, 14 years old. And I think developing a time management skill was key. I would go to school all day, then work at Walmart from 4 to 10 as a cashier, and then get up and do the same thing over and over again for like 3 years straight. And I didn't realize it back then, but I was developing this crazy skill of time management. And now, like I was telling you backstage, it seems like I can put anything on my plate with Google Calendar and still not have to say no to people. So I guess that was my biggest, kind of aha moment, was find ways to say yes to people rather than no.
As the company continues to grow, what are your plans as of late? Of course, you guys just unveiled a new line very recently. What's the scheduling for new products? Any sort of new developments in production and manufacturing that you're working on? Anything that you could share with us?
Yeah, when I first started, I didn't know what I was doing. People say that you should plan 6 months ahead for the clothing and fashion industry and stuff. When you're planning your summer line, your winter line should already be debuted, and vice versa. And when I started, I thought, well, this is what I see people wearing. This is what I want to wear. This is what I think people will like. And I just kind of always stuck to my guns on that and released a couple pieces here and there. And eventually want to release double what I did this time. And, I have some ideas for kind of end of May, early April, or early June and July kind of release, and go from there too. So because I also do things casually too. We're an outdoor brand first and foremost, and all the activities that follow are just under our umbrella.
In terms of dropping items, obviously there are some of those brands that will only put out 30 articles of a hoodie or a jacket. Once they're gone, they're gone. Do you guys follow that same kind of model, or as it comes out, it'll always be available to pick up?
So, I don't know how much you know about the clothing industry, Steve, but a lot of people, there's 2 ways to do it. You either hold inventory or you have a drop shipper. And how drop shipping works is, when someone places an order, say Steve placed an order on my website, it would automatically ship out. Well, see, we don't do that. We hold all inventory. I have 2 home offices. One's my college dorm and one's my bedroom at home. And they're full of boxes. I'm sure my roommate hates it. I'm sure my roommate absolutely hates it. But
I need a photo. I need a photo of your room like ASAP. Just kind of get.
Oh, geez. Well, it was funny when I was going to do my business taxes. They said, "Do you have a home office?" I said, "Well," I asked if I could deduct my college dorm, and they said, "No, unfortunately not, since I live there." But no, but that's just it. If I have the inventory available, I'll, if there's a need for the product, then yeah, of course, I always try to have that product. For example, I'm wearing the Evergreen Mint right now, quarter zip. huge popular item. It sold out really quick in the summertime. I've restocked it 3 or 4 times, so it really depends. And then, I try to have sales and try to move things around too and make it fair. So
in terms of the process, again, going back to this, like how you do it, what's the trying to find the word of exactly like what I'm looking for here. What's been like I don't know, a story, something crazy that you've been able to accomplish or go through when making this process? Like, was there ever a moment that you looked at what you were doing and saying, like, is this like feasible with everything that's going on in my life?
Oh, geez, that was since day one. I run off of Shopify. I don't know if you're familiar with Shopify.
Mm-hmm.
I just started my free trial back in 2022, and I thought, all right, I'll code my website in a week. I thought I'll be great. Thought I'll start January 1st, and I did all my stuff and logged in, and I just like saw all of these box templates and stuff. Luckily, Shopify is great. I love Shopify, but it was a really big learning curve because, like I said, a marketing major, not IT at all. And that was kind of something that was one of my first challenges. Now, a major clothing challenge was getting sizings right, is because essentially golf's easy to do because golf's pretty universal. Some people like a classic fit, some people just like a true fit. But casually is really weird because a lot of people either like things big, like things loose, like things tighter. And it's hard to accommodate. So when I first started, I thought, okay, well, one size fits most. That's what I thought. And I ordered a whole batch of T-shirts, customized them, everything, cut the sew, and it was great. And they were beautiful. And then I tried on. I'm usually a medium. I tried on a medium, and it felt like a crop top. I was like, oh boy, here we go, and it just wasn't good. So I took kind of that idea and I thought, well, what sizing chart did we go off of here? And here I looked at it and it was U.S. kids. And I was like, oh my goodness! I just started launching a product for adults that was U.S. kids, but it almost turned into an opportunity now, is because I have kids and stuff in the summertime. Their parents will buy gear. And then, the kids will ask questions. Well, now I have a kid's product. And I never thought I would ever get into kids' clothing at all. But at least I have a kid's product that if a little kid wants a T-shirt or something, there's something on the website for them.
So 2024 plans, we're already 2 months in. Any sort of updates that you have planned or just new ideas, hopes, goals, expectations?
Yeah, I'm starting to do a lot of country clubs. So a lot of times country clubs want their logo embroidered like right here, left chest or on the sleeve. And unfortunately, I don't do any of that in-house. So I had to find an embroiderer to, with what's called decorating. And essentially I take my clothing as clothing blanks to them. And I say, hey, so-and-so country club wants this embroidered. Can you do it on the left chest for me? And they'll say, yeah, Nate, we can do it if you bring over X number of polos or X number of quarter zips and stuff. So I started to really hone in on that. And I started to really do wholesale deals with retailers and country clubs and stuff. And I'm really hoping to up that as going forward in 2024.
Is there any sort of like premier goal, let's say in 5 years or 10 years down the line? Where do you want to be? Where is Acorn Hills going to be by 2034?
Well, if you would have told me last year at this time, I would have been, on USA Today and Weather Channel and worked with different colleges and worked with different businesses and retailers that include like REI. I've worked with REI, crazy stories that I would have never guessed. But, 10 years from now, it's hard to believe. It's hard to imagine or think where I could be. But I always like to say, like any good forest with water and sunshine, it grows. So I think the same is true with the company, that we might not have water or sunshine, so to say, but with awareness and people's passion for the outdoors and making the world a better place, that we're only going to grow. It's only up, not going to go down. So
So one of the things that I love to do with all my guests that me and Ben have had on a ton of people in the past, we want to get to know you as not only a owner of a business, but also just a person. I think one of the coolest parts about getting to do what I do is talk and hear the unique perspectives and the stories that everyone has. So I have a series of rapid fire questions for you. Do not feel, well, I'm kind of rushing you a little bit. First thing that comes to mind, give me your idea. Turning 21, what was your first drink?
My first drink. Well, my first drink, I made sure to have it with my dad. He came over to we went to Olive Garden, and I had pasta.
Classic American drink.
I had pasta, and I panicked. I saw the menu, and I was like, I don't know what I want. So like the first word was Bud Light, and I said, all right, Bud Light it is. So my first drink was Bud Light, which
Bud Light was your first drink at 21?
Yeah, as my first. It was just a regular beer.
What's the go-to beer though? Like Nectar of the Gods, must drink it. What is it?
I mean, freshly 21. I don't think I have that much experience. But probably an Ultra, maybe.
Okay, classic golf links drink. How many pillows do you sleep with?
Pillows. You say pillows? Is that what you said?
Yeah. How many pillows do you sleep with?
Four pillows. One little small one that I like hold on to, and then like three just like encase my head.
You are literally just like me. Socks and shoes, or sock shoe?
Socks and shoe. If you do it the other way, I think you're a monster. But
what's the best flavor of Gatorade?
Probably like either like the yellow, whatever the yellow is, or the white.
What are the three things that have to be in your golf bag at all times?
Three things. Oh, definitely tees. I'm telling you, I break so many tees. It's not even funny. But so tees, golf glove, and then of course balls and stuff. That's such a cheesy answer, but yeah, I would say those three. Or I have a head cover of a pirate. I always make sure he's on my club, so he has to be there.
Does he have a name?
Oh, Patches. Yeah, I've lost Patches so many times. He's always returned though. So,
well, this is Ollie, the bogey bear. So that's my go-to. See, everyone. I feel like post Tiger, everyone has to have some sort of an animal or person on their bag, or else it doesn't make any sort of sense. Frank was just the inventor of the golf style bag.
Yeah, I had Patches. I had little Bubba Watson. He was like dressed as like a swamp guy. I don't know if you ever saw that one. And then I had SpongeBob. SpongeBob was on my driver for years.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
The one I always wanted, I have a friend who was a Johnny Bravo one. I'm not sure if that was before your time.
Oh, I know who he is. Yeah, Johnny Bravo.
Your favorite television show growing up?
Oh, geez. It probably, like, cartoon-wise, probably SpongeBob. I know it's like that's pretty controversial, but I like SpongeBob a lot. I still like the older episodes. The new ones are horrible. But
the worst meal you've ever eaten?
Worst meal? Oh, there was like this thing called a Fireball burger one time, and it may have been like the hottest thing I've ever eaten in my life. And I don't hate hot food, but like I took a bite of it and it felt like I swallowed like a cannonball. I will never I can just taste it thinking of it.
Do you have any specific like superstition or golf ritual that you have to do either during a swing, before a swing, or pre or post match?
Well, pre-match, so going to the gym a lot is fun to do here for me. So I won't like hit arms or anything upper body prior to playing. So usually when I'm in season, one time I did that and I got the shanks really, really bad, and I like had them forever. And like I just won't do anything upper body in the gym before a round.
What's your biggest golf pet peeve?
Biggest golf pet peeve? I'd probably say polos not tucked in. That's probably my biggest one.
Are you a firm believer of the nowadays we're getting very like casual with golf, like the hoodie on course?
I don't mind it. Essentially, I think the people that are arguing it are probably like 25, 30 handicappers, but I do see their point. Being from where I'm from, hoodie's considered formal dress, so like those guys probably think it's great. But if I went to Oakmont and had a hoodie on, like I would want them to yell at me. That just wouldn't be a good thing.
You know, I feel semi-targeted by your comment, even though I'm only a 14 handicapper.
No, I didn't mean that anyway, but
no, I have the hoodie that I mean, I wear largely like FootJoy and Polo, so I have one that like Dustin Thomas wears. Mostly because casual,
if the pros are doing it, then it's cool to do. But like, the pros set the standard.
I feel like winter gear, like it's almost like too clunky. Like it screws with my swing. I don't feel flowy in it. Like vests to me are really weird. Like I'll wear a vest casually. I cannot wear a vest on the golf course. It ruins my feel.
Yeah, I'm a quarter zip, usually polo. If I'm just like, I don't even know, Mark Zuckerberg or something. Every day I have this quarter zip polo on. It's unreal. It just, you open my closet and it's just different colors of quarter zips.
So you're kind of the classic finance bro to a degree.
Yeah. I wouldn't call me a finance bro at all. I just maybe classic marketing guy. But
there you go.
Yeah, my brother's a finance guy. He did finance and accounting, and I'm marketing and accounting. So.
And does he wear the Patagonia vest?
He wears a lot of Acorn Hills, so that.
All right, so there you go.
That's the brand. Yeah.
What are 3 golf brands that you aspire to be like or work with if you were to do a partnership?
Yeah, partnership wise, it'd be weird to do another one, like a partnership with another clothing company. But I think if I were to partner with something, it would either be like, I don't know, TaylorMade or one of the club people. Another brand, just a brand I always aspire to be, is Rhoback. I would love Rhoback. I think their mission's really cool. I think their stuff's simple and classy, but I think Rhoback sometimes can overcharge their guys. But and then you got to love the classics of FootJoy and Peter Millar, and kind of the catalyst that kind of crawled so everyone else could walk and run.
What's the go-to club in your bag when you're in trouble?
When I'm in trouble, oh geez, that's a lot. Probably like if I had to punch out a tree, it's probably like a 3-iron if I'm punching. But my go-to club is probably like one of my wedges. Now, here's a funny story. Being a college player, you'd think I would hit the ball a mile, which I do not. There are tons of kids here that carry the ball like 300 plus. I carry the ball like 230. So anyone out there listens that are like a short hitter, trust me, I'm living proof that there is hope out there for you. But I don't hit the ball. It makes for a good joke on the team that I'm the old guy. They all, qualifiers, they always want me to move up to the senior tees and stuff. But it's funny because I always have been a decent ball striker just because I've always been a field player and a good wedge player and putter and stuff. So a lot of times when they make those jokes at the end of the round, the scorecard usually shuts them up. But
what's the one piece of golf advice from a self-started, self-made college golfer that you can give anybody, particularly myself right here in the seat, advice on his or her game?
Oh, swing your swing. It's just a game. I look at guys, like, especially for my country, or they call it country club, but essentially it's just a golf course. But that throw clubs and get mad. And I always thought, well, there's like 2-year-olds playing this game. Like you need to grow up. And I've always kind of stuck to my guns on that. Like at the end of the day, it's a game. It's supposed to be fun. I know it's competitive, but even you're going to hit bad shots. You might as well just come to terms with it and go out there and, don't try to guard against something or guard against, a lot of times I feel that players are afraid to go right or left, and they try to really kind of get rigid in their swing. Swing your swing. Don't worry about it. If you go out of bounds, you go out of bounds. You got to retee. But the minute you start thinking too much, the minute you all go like downhill. At least for me. Some guys on my team love analytics and love 3 paces off of the flag and stuff. That's too many things for me to remember. I just swing the club.
Well, folks, the There you have it. The only bit of life advice that you need is just swing your damn swing.
Just swing your swing. And if you shoot a bad round, blame me.
Dude, thank you so much for jumping on. This has been an awesome talk. Love to hear all things about Acorn Hills. Really excited to be a ambassador for this brand going forward and getting to work with you guys. Follow him at Nate Hryn, Nate_Hryn on Instagram. Follow the company Instagram, of course, acorn.hills. Visit acornhillsco.com to get your hands on some awesome merch. Nate, once again, man, thank you so much. Been an awesome time.
Hey, thanks, Steve. It's been a blast. So.
Thanks for listening to Get in the Hole, the official golf podcast of Underground Sports Philadelphia. Catch us every week wherever you get your favorite podcasts, and be sure to like and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Get in the Hole Pod, and follow Underground Sports Philadelphia at Underground PHI. We'll see you next time, and remember, get in the hole!